When I was a younger guy, I was 20 when I first started actually, putting my mind to learning how to trade and taking risk and whatnot in the markets. Being prodded along as a 13 and 14-year-old, and at 16-year-old at the Sunday morning brunches that turns into grandma's lunches and dinners where the family would come together. I had an uncle, obviously, would keep prodding me, telling me all the time that the richest people in the world were traders of futures and options. And those seeds were planted way, way, way early in my life. And I didn't know at the time that that would culminate and basically grow into, what you see today. So when I first started, I came up in a time where that was my low point. Like that was my low point. I couldn't go any lower than that as a man, as a person, as a recent divorcee. And everything at that time was just darkness, gloom. It was very hard for me to be optimistic about anything. So I was living a night daily. There was no light, there was no, you know, optimistic perspective to hold on to. It just wasn't there. I felt defeated. I felt lost, really. I just didn't have a direction at all. And recently, upon divorce, I met a young lady. Actually followed her home. Creepy, right? But we ended up getting together. And the few words that she gave one day when I told her, I opened up. And as men in the audience, this is very difficult for us to do. And women, if you're listening, hey, this is a life lesson for you as well. If a man ever opens himself up to you, he's laying his neck on your sword. He's literally trusting you with his emotions. He's trusting you with his frailty. He's trusting you with how you respond would destroy him, basically. And he sees value in you to the degree that he's willing to give this to you. And from a man's perspective, and every man in the audience right now, if you agree, just say, I agree, or that's on point. You're trusting this person to a degree that's way beyond fidelity, way beyond just, I want her to feel like I cherish her. You're trusting this person entirely with your being, where you're giving her this gift that you can't give to anyone else. This is only entitled to them. And I shared that with her. I was honest with her. I told her that I was brokenhearted. I couldn't imagine how this woman who I was married to, and I get some of you are probably thinking, what's this got to do with trading? It has everything to do with trading. Everything to do with trading. I was busted, torn up. And what I saw in this young lady, I wanted that more. But I needed to break completely away from the things that were shackling me. I needed to get away from all of that torment that I put myself through. I needed to somehow restore that old relationship that was absolutely not for me. It was toxic. And I tried to be the white knight in a scenario that there was no saving that situation. But God saw fit to put this young lady in my life. And I told her that I was very hard pressed to find any optimistic thing outside of her. And that I don't know what direction I'm going to go. And this is what I'm trying to do right now, which was learning how to invest and trade. And I expected deep down inside that she wouldn't be all that interested or really care that much. But I felt that I had to give that to her. And every single day, every single day, when I wake up and I look at those markets and I look at those charts, before I talk to anybody, either online, on Telegram, anyone, I hear Shannon's voice. She said to me when I told her what I wanted to do, she said to me, and it didn't sound canned. Like I believe she meant it entirely and sincere. She said, Michael, I've only known you for a short period of time, but you seem very focused. You seem very passionate about this. And if anything you put yourself in the direction of going after, I think this is going to be it for you. I can see you doing this. And you know what she did? She brought it up at dinner with her mother and father, with me sitting there. And man, I can't tell you, I can't tell you the level of just empowerment. Like I was like, well, this is it now. All those times my uncle spoke to me and said, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. It didn't mean anything to me. I had started the journey, but not because of him. No disrespect to my Uncle Stan. But it just felt like, well, what was the option? Either I'm going to still work and do these 13-hour days and make no money, or make a change. And my degree wasn't getting me anywhere. No doors were opening up for systems analyst, despite my GPA and despite my affinity for trading, and I'm not trading, but for coding and being involved in that industry. I did it from sixth grade on, self-taught most part, and that's why it was easy for me to go through the actual academics of it. But when her father, Mr. Huff, who's gone on to be with the Lord, he looked at her and smiled, and he turned to me, he said, I've never heard her talk about anyone like that before. And I looked at her mother, and I was like, my face was burning. I was blushing like crazy, and the water was beaded up on my eyelid. And I was like, don't you dare let it drop in front of them. Don't you? But I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it because at that moment, these people weren't my family. But I fell in love with them at that moment. I fell in love with that element of family. I've never had that before. I've never experienced that before. And they sowed in me a seed of optimism that I carry every single day. Every single day. Now, obviously, Mr. Huffy's moved on. He can't see me in the natural. I'm sure he probably can see me now. And Miss Sharon, Shannon's mother, she's never had the opportunity to see where I'm at today. And Shannon, unless she's aware of me online, which out of respect for her family, her marriage and whatnot, I don't ever do anything to trifle in anyone else's relationship. But we eventually, a year and a half later, separated. And no fault of anyone's. I just made a poor choice at the time, being insecure because of a previous relationship. I felt like it was too good, and if I didn't get out of it, at least I protected myself from her hurting me. And I don't believe she ever would have done it. And if I would have never met my present wife, I would like to think that I had a chance to get back with her. That's not me saying that I love her more than my wife. I'm just saying, if you were to ask me and we were friends and we're talking and being honest, and that's something I'm doing here, I'm being honest with you. That young lady made a lasting impression on me because of her words of encouragement. And I can tell you to this day, there has never been another female, even my wife, that has ever said those types of deep reaching, lifting empowerment. Like it was like rocket fuel. It was like, I cannot fail now. Like I can't fail now. Like, I know this is mine now. I know it's mine because she could have said, well, I'll believe it when I see it, because that's what my wife has always said in the beginning of our relationship. I'll believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it. She came from a family that was disjointed, dysfunctional, and Shannon didn't. How you raise your children has a lasting impression on how they're going to be as adults. And it's a crazy paradigm when you look at the contrast of people that were raised like I was. I grew up in a broken home, dysfunctional, and it was very hard for me to see the pathway in front of me. I just know I wanted to get out of that. I didn't want to stay in that type of dysfunctional family. And trading seemed like that was the avenue, but I was afraid. I was afraid of doing it. And I needed to be encouraged because I felt like, if I'm telling myself every day at that time that no one's going to believe I'm going to be able to do this, if I'm saying that, and you probably have done this yourself, think about it. Maybe that's where you're at right now. You're thinking, nobody believes in me. Nobody believes I'm going to do this or be successful. And you know what? When you say that to yourself, just like when I said it to myself, that's a true statement. You weren't expecting me to say that, were you? It's actually a true statement. Because if you're saying nobody believes I'm going to do it, you're stating emphatically that you don't believe it either. Because nobody includes you. Think about it. Your subconscious is speaking, and your subconscious is always the truth. That's the part that you guard all the time. That's the part, young men, when you try to meet that young lady and have special time with her. I'm not talking between the sheets. You're trying to impress her and woo her and think, wow, this guy's a really nice guy. I want to be with him. You put on your best clothes, your best cologne. You get your hair done up nice. You make the greatest impression. And you don't want to do anything rude. You don't want to be in any way off-putting to her. Well, you gotta guard all these things, these insecurities that you have. And when you speak those things like, nobody believes I'm going to do this, you need to stop that. Because I held on to that for a long time. I was living nighttime every single day. And you know what happens at nighttime. You dream, you have nightmares, and you have good dreams. And if you're like me, who studied it a lot when I was younger, you could have a lucid dream. A lucid dream is where you actually wake up in your dream and you realize that you're not awake in the physical, and you can do things in your dream that's neat. And one of my favorite things is flying. I'm afraid of heights, but in my dreams, I can fly. And there's lots of really good books on lucid dreaming if you want to look at it. I'm not going to try to teach lucid dreaming because I'm not capable of doing it. It's not something you can say, here it is, here's an optimal trade entry, here's a fair value gap. It's not like that. But it's something I journaled for a long time. And all the things that I used to journal prior to that moment, when Shannon said what she said, and that evening, that day sowed it in the annals of the future that I was going to be who I am today. Now, one could say, well, you didn't have a good relationship, you broke up. Yeah, I made a bad choice. I got too emotional about something, insecurities, and we broke up amicably. Like it was not a hateful thing. So how could you say that was a good thing? Well, I believe God placed her in my life at that time to encourage me because I needed it. Much like many of you probably turn to me when I do these motivational elements. Or I try to ground you, shake you by your lapels and remind you that this is normal stuff, folks. I'm not exempt to it. I'm not ashamed to say I went through these types of things either. I'm actually very thankful because recognizing those nightmares that I held on to. I chose to keep putting on that garment of sorrow, that garment of fear. What if I try really, really hard and I fail? That's what I was afraid of before I even told her. Knowing that, I still laid it in her hands and she could have destroyed me. She could have laughed in my face and said, what, what a crazy idea. You're going to be working like everybody else. And I was expecting that to happen because that's exactly what my family said. That's exactly what my friends said. And we like to think that, our family members, if I tell them what I'm going to do, they're going to encourage me like, yeah, heck yeah, that's the thing. That's it. That's the thing. I can see you doing it. Man, if you do well, could you help me too? That's what you want to hear, isn't it? That's exactly what you want to hear. But you don't ever hear that, do you? You're going to do what? You're going to do what? Hey, fellas, listen to this. Come over here. Tell her what you just said. You're going to do what? You're going to push some buttons and money's going to end up in your bank account. What did you just say to me? Come on. That's what happens, isn't it? And if you have not shared what you want to do yet with your family members, don't be surprised. That's what they do to you. It's normal. That's normal. It doesn't feel normal when it happens. It feels personal. It feels like they're kicking dirt in your face. That's exactly what it felt like for me. At a time when I was already beaten up, tore up from the floor up, no direction in life. Feel like I wasted all that time academically and couldn't even land an interview. Resumes going out every single day, not one phone call ever. Now you can say, well, you're a failure. That's a testimony right there. That's a failure right there. You know what I see? I see a door being kept closed because I was never meant to go through it. Hello. That'll preach right there. What I spent so much time from 6th grade on dreaming of getting a good job, getting my name on a little plate on my desk, maybe having some people underneath me I'm in charge of. That's not me. That was never supposed to be me. As much as I thought it was, just like I thought my first wife was, that was my queen. That was my one time and I'm one and done. Lost my virginity to her and I married her. Just like that. That's the kind of person I am. I didn't want to be a player. I didn't want to run around and see how many times I can get a dip. And we separated, and it put me in a state where, well, I guess I'm just like everybody else. And then I womanized. And I ran around and I did things with married women. And I have an oldest son as a byproduct of that. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. You have all kinds of problems when you do things like that. But that young lady's words of encouragement, I carry them today. And when I talk to you, you think I'm talking to you, but I'm talking to my kids. That's why it feels genuine. That's why it feels like you know me. That's why it feels good when I tell you, I believe in you. I think you're going to do it. Because I believe in my children. I believe that they're going to do this. And all of you know me online. You never shared a meal with me. You never met me at a pub, at a cafe, in passing. But you feel like you know me. You feel like we've been friends for a long, long time. Because when I talk to you sincerely. It's not scripted. I don't even know what I'm going to say next. It just comes out. I let it all flow out evenly. And it's all based on real things. real things I experienced and adversities. And if I can go through it and come out of it, and I'm not special, folks. I know some of you think I am, like to think I'm should be lifted up on a hero pedestal. I should never be lifted up on a hero pedestal. I have so many frailties, so many insecurities. I could never do what I'm doing right now if you're all standing in front of me. I'm introverted. You would never imagine the same person that talks to you like this. If we were in person, it wouldn't be like that. Why? Because it's deep rooted in my childhood. I was a quiet kid. So quiet, I was afraid to talk out loud because the things I was thinking, I thought I'd be in trouble. You can fill in the blanks on that. So, where am I going with this? Well, how's this applicable to you? Well, when I was young, I had a lot of anxiety, debilitating anxiety, fear of performance in life, getting a job. What if I don't make as much money as I want to? What if I don't get the job I want? What if I don't go where I want to go and work for the company I want to work for? And I would wake up with night terrors. You ever had one of them before? You just wake up and you're gasping for air. Now, I was fit as a fiddle back then, so I had no apnea. I had no nothing that would be classified as, oh, this sounds like sleep apnea. No, I didn't have any of that. I had crippling anxiety because my mind is supercharged. If you give me an idea and ask me to make this happen, or I have an idea that comes to me now, I can run with that and turn it into a success story. Back then, everything was a nightmare unfolding. Everything was an impossibility. And I made sure of it because I constantly dwelled on, this is probably going to end poorly. I shouldn't even bother doing this. Many times I would have ideas I would write down in my journal. This is what I think I should be trying to do today. And then what would I do? Run the other direction all day long. Never work towards it. Never try to do anything working towards that idea becoming fruitful or coming to pass. That's not procrastination. That's running away from it. There's a difference. See, procrastination is like when I tell you to backtest. When I tell you, you're not going to learn the things I'm teaching you unless you literally go into your charts and backtest them. It doesn't mean go look at what has happened today and say, yeah, well, that was it. No. You got to dig through weeks and months of old news. So if you sit around and procrastinate like that, you're never going to get good at this. What I was doing as a young man was literally running from it. I wasn't just stationary saying, yeah, I'll get around to it eventually. No, I was terrified. Because I couldn't handle another failure. I couldn't accept another defeat. I was at my lowest point. And I guarded that very next thing all the time, expecting to walk through a door and see something like a murder scene. Well, I knew it was going to happen eventually. That was my mentality then. Diametrically opposed to what it is today. Instead of thinking back then, everything's going to be the worst case scenario. Everything is always bad luck. And that's why I don't believe in luck. That's why I always snub my nose at luck. Okay, because in trading, there is no luck. It's just decisions, and that decision was correct or is incorrect. It doesn't mean that your model is broken or doesn't work if it is incorrectly done. This means that you as the operator, you made an error. Correct it. Don't do it again. Don't repeat it. It's a binary response. If this happens, then it's this. And every time I make a losing decision, it's mine. I own it. Now, back then, if something bad happened to me, Well, this is the person that probably caused this to happen to me. See, when you live a self-defeating lifestyle and you live in fear and toxic what if thinking, what if I don't succeed? What if I try really, really hard? What if I try so hard and I pour so much time and effort into this? Maybe even some money, even then. What happens if I fail? How embarrassing would that be? How demoralizing would it be if I work so hard and I fail? That's exactly what I fed myself every single day. Is it no surprise why I didn't have any ambition to pursue any of the ideas that would come to me? Of course not. It would come to nobody's surprise. But see, that's the benefit of hindsight, looking back at it now. But when you're in the thick of it, when you're living it, you can't see it any other way. And you might be there right now. You might have tried trading, and if you're really, really honest, and I'm asking you to be honest, not with me, you don't need to share it publicly as a response to me, but be honest with yourself. Did you rush it? Did you put a little bit too much on your plate? More than you can handle by trading with real money before you should have? Did you try to pass combines before you even knew who you were? The things that make you tick, the things that hold you back, but you don't think it's that. Did you rush it? Did you jump in and plunge before you really knew what you were doing? Because I think if you were honest, you would admit that that's exactly what you did. You see, there's lots of people out there that are making money. Believe me, they have no problem showing it to you. There's nothing wrong with that. In many ways, they're doing what I did as a 20-year-old. You had to broadcast it because I couldn't believe it either. I couldn't believe it. I had to show everybody. Not just because I wanted to twist that knife and rub salt in the wound for everybody that said I would never be able to do it. But I physically could not believe it. Remember, I'm an avid lucid dreamer. I didn't know half the time if I was conscious or if I was in a lucid dream doing what I thought I should be doing. Sounds crazy, doesn't it? Sounds like wild. But that's a dreamscape. I moved from nightmare to dreamscape. I was living my dreams. I was not enduring my nightmares. And I didn't recognize that right away. Because I was doing things after the words of a young lady that I was falling head over heels in love with. And her family literally just gave me the invitation to, hey, listen, don't even bother asking me, son. Give her the ring and welcome to the family. That's how I interpreted that. And true to form, once I started making success, and I shared with her, look, this is what I did. I made $11,000 today. Wow. Now today, today's terms of trading, $11,000 is nothing, right? I mean, nobody cares about $11,000. What are you going to do with $11,000? You can't even buy a small county car anymore. But back in 1993, walking out of the movie theater, holding her hand, we just walked out and saw the movie The Crow, Brandon Lee. Dark movie. I liked it. It was awesome. She didn't care for the movie too much. And I said, this is the greatest day of my life right now. Up to this moment, this is the greatest day. I just got to share time with you, watched Brandon Lee just go crazy in a movie he died in. It was epic. It was awesome. The soundtrack was awesome. And I made $11,000. And she was like, what? No way. Are you crazy that you made that just today? I was like, well, it took 3 days to get to it, but I did. Yeah, here it is. I told you. Now here it is, gentlemen. This is exactly what we're listening for. When you're talking to your ladies, when you're talking to your girlfriend, your wife, your spouse, your significant other, ladies, listen, because this is what we're listening for. This is how you wrap us around your finger. You want a man to stick with you and not run around on you? You want a man that's going to say, you know what, I don't need to get a dip anywhere else. I got everything I need right here. Because listen, ladies, you might think you got something special between your legs. Everybody's got that same thing down there. And men, you got the same thing too. It's how you walk with it. It's what you do when you're not using it. And men, give me an amen if it ain't like this. This young lady literally confirmed what she said the first time. I believe you're going to do it. I believe you're going to do it. If there's any person out there that's going to do it, it's you. I haven't known you that long, but I can tell you are very passionate about this. She knew I was studying all the time. All the time. What is that? What's that radio you're holding? I said, it's not a radio, it's a Cortrek. It tells me what the price of soybeans and corn and live cattle, high-grade copper, all that stuff. It tells me what the prices are right now. And she's like, you know what that means? It's like, well, I'm learning. Yep, that same guy you hear now talks like he knows everything, right? I was vulnerable in her hands, and in her presence, I was vulnerable. And she said, I told you you would be able to do this. Man, I don't care. I could have made $1 million on that trade. Those words meant way more. Way more. I could have ran through a fucking wall. I was like Superman. Ladies, you give your man that, he ain't going nowhere. He ain't going nowhere. And that fueled me. I want to do another one of them. And I don't want to make a mistake. So what was she doing? She was being my accountability agent. The person that held me accountable. Because she would ask all the time, how much did you risk doing that? How much did you spend to do that? See, in her mind, that's the only thing she understood. It cost you something. What was the cost? And I realized that if I take wild, reckless risks, and I'm trying to start a family with this woman, I'm going to give her my name, because I eventually proposed to her. She said yes. Her parents were ecstatic. It was great. It was great. I took her to Harbor Courts Hotel, and there was 2 restaurants in there, and they were both 5-star restaurants. Took a limousine ride down there and proposed to her. And I was scared to death, man. I was scared to death. Not because of what she was going to say, because she already told me she was going to say yes, because I couldn't wait. I told her to give her my aunt's house, who I was living with at the time. I said, listen, I want to move out, and I want you to be my wife. And she's like, what? I said, don't worry. I've already asked your dad. He said it's good. She's like, what? Oh. I said, yeah, it's got it all planned out. We're going to go to Ruth Chris. I rented a limousine. She's, why'd you do this then? And she started laughing at me. I said, because I can't wait. I can't wait. I want you to know how much I want to be with you, how much you fulfill me, how much encouragement you provide to me. Ladies and gentlemen, isn't that what you want in a significant other? My life, every day, was writing love letters and love notes and hiding it in things that she would find it underneath a couple layers of socks, in between her books, because she was going to Village Julie for business management. And every Friday, I alternated 12 roses being delivered to her house, so her parents saw it every other Friday, and her coworkers saw it every other Friday. I swooned and just did everything. I was Mr. Romantic. Why? Because this woman gave me everything. As a man who needed encouragement, she gave me lightning in a bottle. And I wanted to impress her. I wanted her to feel like she could trust me, and it kept me from taking reckless, crazy risks. Think about that. You want to succeed in life? You want to succeed in trading? Your home life's got to be right. You can't be of two minds. And if you're out there thinking, well, I'm with her for right now, she's my right now thing. She's my right now girl. My side piece. I keep it from her view. If you're living like that, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to fucking fail in trading. You're going to fail.